Yep, I can definitely refer, but I'll know since your channel has a lot of subscribers, so I'll get a lot of requests. So what I can do is maybe I can select the first 10 or first 20 candidates.
Hi guys, I'm Sarika and welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm covering finance related topic. Why? Because you had been asking me in YouTube, Instagram, Telegram. So today I have invited Shanil, who is a finance guru according to me. He had already been on my channel before where he shared his journey from India to UK. So today he'll be answering your questions which you had been asking. So let me welcome Shanil now. Hi, Shanil. Welcome to my channel once again.
Thank you, Sarika, for having me again.
Okay. So lately, I had been getting lots of questions related to the finance job. So, you being a finance guru, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I hope that's okay. So, the first question that I have: how is the finance structured? What kind of roles are there in within the finance? Can you just explain from your experience or knowledge?
Yep, sure. So basically, the finance industry, talking about UK markets, I can divide that into various sectors. So first sector would be big four consultancies. Then there will be banking industry. Then there will be manufacturing, retail, and telecom. And then there will be consultancy firms which are called big threes like McKinsey's, BCG, and Bain. And then there will be investment banks like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America. And into that, there will be different roles. For example, in big fours, you have audit, IT advisory, taxation. In manufacturing, retail, and telecom, you have accountancy positions. And in investment banking, you'll have product control and financial analyst. And in bank sectors, you can have anything from credit to retail banking to see internal audit and so on and so forth.
Okay, so where does accounts receivable and accountant or payable kind of fit?
So basically, in terms of accountant, it will be more into either banking side of things or into specific industries. Let's say, like in terms of India, let's say like Reliance. So we have Geo, we have Vodafone here. So in terms of manufacturing, retail, or telecom, you'll have accounting positions, and then in further in terms of senior accountant, you'll have junior positions like account payable, account receivable, debtors, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so out of your experience and your knowledge of the UK market, out of all the jobs you talked about, which kind of jobs get visa sponsorship?
Yeah, so the easiest industry to get visa sponsorship in UK is Big Four for sure. Because in terms of industry, it's very difficult for them to convince government to get expats from outside. So in terms of Big Fours, because it's more of a consultancy service, you have audit, accounting. There is an accounting version of advisory in Big Four, which is called accounting advisory or FAAS. And then there's taxation and advisory for valuations and transaction services. So that's the best bet. After that, there big companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and big banks like Lloyd's, Royal Bank of Scotland, and Bank of America. They would still sponsor. But in terms of core accounting roles into corporate finance, it's really a very tough thing to get sponsorship, especially if you are fresher or if you have like limited experience. If you have experience for 5-10 years, then it might be possible.
Okay, so in general, for other kind of jobs, so how many years of experience do you recommend people to have before they apply jobs in the UK market?
At least 3 years of experience, like over and above three. Anything below three, basically you're just wasting your time, efforts, and energy because they won't consider you. Anything above three is easier for big four. And if you are targeting, let's say, big banks or investment banks or industry, then I would say above 5 years of experience.
Okay, so any finance related job sites do you recommend people to use, or do you think LinkedIn is good enough for them to start applying for the jobs?
So what I would prefer is first LinkedIn, and second would be career portals of their respective companies, because normally companies would first publish in the career portals and then to other websites, because there is an indirect link to their career portals for the application, final application as well. And also in career portals, it's easy to filter. It's easy to filter based on the job description, location, as well as what your requirements are and what the company's requirements are. So I always prefer career portal, and then of course in LinkedIn you can find not only the jobs but also the recruiters or recruitment consultants for which they are posting the jobs for.
Okay, thank you. So, again, from your knowledge and experience, what kind of qualification or certifications do you recommend people to have?
Yep. So the thing in UK is in terms of what we call in India called semi-qualified, they won't hire because at the end of the day, we have a lot of graduation students, grad students, post-grad students, semi-qualified students inside the local market itself for which they need to provide jobs for. So basically, what is lacking is the people who are fully qualified. And in terms of qualifications, when I'm talking into finance sector, you have to be either CA, ACCA, CFA, CMA UK, or CPA, fully qualified. And then, especially in the past couple of years, there's a lot of emphasis on automation, data analytics, and even in finance role, a lot of things on automation and IT. So if you have any additional skills in terms of SQL, VBA, Python, Power BI, or then the software called Alteryx or QuickBooks. So all these IT skills in coupled with being fully qualified definitely gives you much edge over any other candidate.
Okay. So, Shanil, there are a lot of international students in the UK now who have taken finance kind of course. So, if they have to apply for internship or apprenticeship, where do they start from?
So the catch with this thing regarding internship and apprenticeship is timing. Most of the companies do hire interns and apprentices, but that happens mostly in August. So in terms of big fours, they have a grad program where they'll hire straight out of university, or even when you are doing your final semester, they can hire you. In terms of big banks, I have recently saw in NetWest as well as Lloyd's Banking, they are hiring interns currently. So, and August to September, October is the period when they hire so that they can train them for October, November, and December. And from January is when the financial year starts. They can start working in the company and then get the ground running.
So it's basically, so say if I am a student and I came last year, so should I start applying last year or should I apply a couple of months before? When should the process start of application?
So normally it depends on the course as well. So if you have 1 year course, you won't have much choices. You'll need to start applying right away. But if you have a 2 year course, I would say start applying around July and August, so that or let's say even July is the best time to apply, so that August or September you'll get the first calls, and but then by October you can join.
Okay. Okay, so my next question is very important because there are a lot of people who had been asking me if I can refer them to any finance jobs. So I'm not an expert in finance, so you are an expert. So from your networking skills or connections and you're working in Big Four, can you refer anyone?
Yep, I can definitely refer, but I'll know since your channel has a lot of subscribers, so I'll get a lot of requests. So what I can do is maybe I can select the first 10 or first 20 candidates who will match my requirements, and then I can refer them into Big Fours, and I can also help them to get to the right contacts to get into industry as well.
Awesome. So Shanil, are you okay if I share your LinkedIn profile with my subscribers?
Yep, that would be fine. But the thing is, the requirements should be clear. Anyone who has less than 3 years of experience, I sound rude, but should not reach out because it won't help the cause, neither from their side nor from our side. So at least 3 years of experience, and then you have to be fully qualified, either CA, CPA, ACCA, CFA, or CMA UK, and then you'll have to be working with not multi-country organizations or multinational organizations like Big Fours, but at least in a reputed organization which is available, which for whose information is available on Google, so that they can run a background check on what kind of experience you might have.
Okay, Shalil, that will be very helpful. Thank you very much. So any final tips before we wrap this video?
I won't say tips as such, but the thing is we need to be clear in our mind when applying for UK, because in terms of finance, it's not as, I won't say simple, but it's not as swift as in terms of IT, because in terms of finance, you have a lot of competition locally as well and from other parts of the world. And second thing is, when it comes from experience, most people do not understand that they can't hire freshers, they can't hire graduates, they cannot hire, because they need to hire locally. So you need to start from day one and build your experience, build your profile, build your skills, and also make sure that you are into, if you are 3 years of experience, you are into it only 2 companies. If you are into like 4 companies in 4 years, then for sure your application will be rejected, because that's a negative thing in terms of UK markets. So that's 2. And third step would be, of course, being qualified is like the bare minimum, because there's no entry it's different in UK, but there's no entry if you're semi-qualified here. And fourth tip is don't take things personally. Any rejection is not a rejection upon you, but because the company has done with their quota of diversity or their quota of candidates in that specific year. So try again next year or try in a different one.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm sure these tips are going to help everyone who's watching this video and whoever is willing to move to the UK for the finance jobs. Thank you for doing this video again, Chanel. Thank you very much.
No worries, Sarika. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chanel. Thank you for sharing all your tips. And thank you also for offering to help people who need a referral in the UK. So, guys, if you fit the bill and if you have the right experience and if you're certified, make sure you reach out to Chanel on this profile. And thanks for watching the video till the end. And I'll see you guys soon again in my next video. Till then, keep learning.